Beatrice, welcome to trunblock.com. I just want to start this conversation by following up Mondelez's presentation in Cannes earlier this year and ask you the question how your category vision has actually evolved over the last 5 or so years.
Thank you, Peter. So if we talk about the last 5 years, we need to realize that we almost lost three with the pandemic, so it's only two.
Yes.
But I prefer to refer back to 10 years ago. That is when we launched for the first time our category vision, delighting travelers. And the fundamentals of this vision were three, and they were more shoppers, more spend, and more often. And with this, we wanted to grow the category. And if we see the results of the last 10 years, all the transformation we have realized in the confectionery category in travel retail, we've seen that these fundamental pillars are still valid. So we continue to base our vision in more shoppers, more spend, and more often. But we are also looking at the new environment we are living on because we know that things have changed, especially since COVID. So we have done multiple researches to understand better our shoppers' need, the new preferences, and the new trends in the market. And what we have identified is two key trends that our shoppers are experimenting. One of them is the experience. So we realize that there is a shift in the society and the level of status is not marked anymore by the things we own or we buy, but the experience we live and the experience that we can share with people physically and also digitally. So as a brand, we need to incorporate to our offer, to our products, a full experience and elevate the experience that the consumers can live at the duty free with our brands. The other key trends is the social responsibility. So we all are in our society more conscious about the impact we do in the planet and with the people we live with. And people expect the big companies and the brand to also make an impact and doing good for the society. So we need to find a way to communicate better what we are doing as a supplier with our brand and also engage in this experience that we were talking about with our shoppers to do something good for the people and the planet.
I guess the key difference now, as you've already outlined, is really how you actually execute your vision. So, what are the key drivers in this respect?
Exactly. So the way we execute in Monday's travel retail is driven mainly by the understanding of our shoppers, the researches we do, and the insights we get with our shoppers. And based on the fundamentals of our delighting travelers vision, what we have identified is three growth pillars where we need to act to grow the category. The first one is leveraging our winning portfolio. So we need to have the right portfolio that satisfies the consumer needs and the shopper preferences. So we know that sharing and gifting is still important as well as sense of place, but we also need to address the new shopper preferences that are in the market right now. We also need to elevate category awareness. We've seen from the last 10 years that confectionery is more and more visible in the stores. And this has brought an impressive growth in confectionery. So we need to continue to do so. And it's about elevating the awareness of confectionery, not only in the duty free store, but also outside of the duty free store. And not only physically, but also mentally, thanks to the digital opportunities we have. And finally, we need to deliver outstanding experience. As I was saying, experience now is the key driver. And I think in travel retail, we have always been best in class to deliver this experience. But I think we can still leverage this more and we need to bring concepts that are relevant and that are true to our shoppers.
Well, let's just look at some examples. Can you quote some, please?
Yeah, I mean, of course, in Mondelez, I think we have been innovating in the last years as a market leader, and we're always trying to bring new experience to the industry. And one of our key milestones was the Toblerone printer that we introduced it some years ago and has been a success. And we are improving this, bringing very soon the Toblerone printer 2.0. But we also advance in experience, including digitalization. And a very good example is the Cadbury FC tour that we did this year, that we will show a video on how it was executed. But for us, it was a key milestone as well because we introduced different technologies in different locations to deliver something unique to each of the shoppers. So we had from a game that where you can test your football skills and win amazing prizes. We also brought the opportunity to take a picture with very famous players. And we introduced a new technology for the first time that was the laser etching. We print more than 150 Cadbury tablets with the logo of the top six English clubs, which I think it's an amazing and unique gift to bring home. So in terms of sustainability, we've also made some progress. We know that sustainability is more and more relevant with our shoppers and especially for the new generation of travelers. So last year we launched for the first time a campaign in collaboration with the NGO One Tree Planted, and the mechanic was very simple. You buy Toblerone, we plant trees. This was very well received by the shoppers as well as the retailers and very successful. We have planted more than 120,000 trees, which we are very proud of. And recently, we activate another ethical promotion that is much closer to our heart and our products because we are helping the communities in Ghana where we grow the chocolate, and we are collaborating in a mobility project enabling our communities to commute to the work, to school. And for this, we have implemented a very nice activation where the beauty as well is that we encourage shoppers as well to by buying a reusable bag that they can bring home, they can also collaborate to the donation. So all together, we are doing something good for the people in Ghana.
Now, you've been citing as a company Horizon data showing that the confectionery category in travel retail has grown by something approaching 60% between 2012 and 2018. Now, 2018, with respect, is actually 4 years ago. And although that's an excellent result, do you have any newer data that's available?
Well, we know that in this industry there is a big challenge when it comes to sharing data and be more transparent with the data. So unfortunately, we have not come together as an industry to be able to have data shared with all the suppliers and the retailers. But we believe that Horizon is a very reliable source. But unfortunately, these reports they run it only every 2 years. So we believe that taking a data from the COVID times was not relevant and was not going to show us anything. And also, what is very important is that this 60% is not so important if it's a 58 or a 62. What shows us is the positive trend that the confectionery category has had in the last 10 years, and that we can be very sure that the things we're doing are in the right direction and we need to continue in this direction. And talking about the transparency of the data in our industry, that I think it's a big challenge that we all have. We see some positive notes because in the recent meetings we have with our customers and with different stakeholders from the industry, we've seen that since COVID, there is a little bit of shift, and we see all of us the necessity to be an industry more data driven. So
For
we are
sure.
positive that this will change in the soon future, and we can find a way to collaborate all together to have this data.
I think it's unquestionably true that this industry is very slow to come forward and is really only inching towards greater transparency, and we're slightly behind in that respect.
Yeah.
But then Mondelez is, after all, market leader. And as market leader, the question I have to ask is, where do you actually see gaps in the market that can actually further grow your brand portfolio and the category in general?
Well, as you say, we are market leader and we've always been looking for new opportunities in the confectionery category. It's in our DNA to innovate and find new opportunities. So we believe that we have opportunities in confectionery to grow even more the category. One of them is to expand confectionery outside of duty-free store, outside of retail. And a very good example is the Oreo Cafe that we launched recently. I think this is a great example on how confectionery can play a role in also different environments, like can be food and services, and we can enlarge the revenues we get from confectionery. Also, elevating experience. I think confectionery is a great category to connect with our shoppers, to give them enjoyable moments at the airport and make them want to spend more time at the airport. We've done, as I was mentioning, the example of Cadbury football that was very successful, and I think we need to continue in this direction to bring unique experience, but also thinking a little bit out of the box and out of the retail spaces we are used to play. Like, why not introduce gaming, for example? I mean, I think there are a lot of possibilities that we can enlarge the confectionery experience with our shoppers. And finally, it's about finding new revenue streams. So we're living in a new environment. As we were saying, there are new shoppers need new shopper preference that we need to address, and we need to find the right segments to grow even more the category.
I just want to develop this point. I mean, as you know, Nestle International Travel Retail versus model has presented that food does actually have the potential to become the number one purchase category in travel retail. Now, this refers to building up, as you mentioned, other food choices, like biscuits, for example, without cannibalizing any of the existing confectionery brands. Indeed, the opposite's the case. Would you subscribe to this view?
This is a very good question. I mean, as a market leader, we have been always looking for new opportunities of growing confectionery. And as you said, biscuits, we launched the biscuit segment in 2018, and we use our brands with Oreo to signpost the whole category, not only our own brands, but also brands from the competitors. And we saw that can bring additional revenues to the confectionery without cannibalizing the category itself. And we did also this recently with a snacking, introducing the snacking category to fill another shopper need, that it was the self-consumption that was not further developed in the industry. So yes, of course, we welcome initiatives like the one from Nestle. And I think what they're doing with the coffee is great. And I think it can enlarge our category. So every action that is made in that sense from us and from the competitors, we will, of course, support it. But what I think it's important as well is that we don't need to forget that chocolate is the focus and the base of our category. Also for Nestle, they have a very strong portfolio on chocolate. So at the same time, we need to look for opportunities to give visibility to this new segment to add to the category, but don't forget to give the right visibility and the right space to the base of our category.
I think it's all about actually getting more space beyond the confectionery
Exactly.
levels that exist currently. Anyway, let's move on. Just how important in your overall marketing strategy is your digital platform? I mean, you've talked about it earlier. And when you talk about investments, I mean, will the metaverse, for example, feature strongly in your plans? And do you actually still see yourself as market leader and market maker in this respect? As we know, there are a lot of people claiming that their latest activity is metaverse based, which of course is absolute rubbish. Some are getting close, but the metaverse, we've barely scratched the surface. What are you up to?
I mean, digital is a very new word for all of us because it's evolving so fast and there are so many possibilities to explore. For us, digital is key to elevate the shopper experience first and to connect with the shoppers. So we really are looking at digital because we cannot miss this opportunity to bring better experience and to connect further with our shoppers. So metaverse, why not? I mean, any opportunity that we will see, we will, of course, consider the same like augmented reality, artificial intelligence. So all of these tools are very new to us. So we don't have the right answers right now. I think no one has the answers, but we are willing to explore, to test, and to collaborate with our customers to find new ways of using these digital platforms that, of course, can help us to grow even more.
Well, we'll all be looking forward to seeing what you have in store for us in the coming months or years with respect to the metaverse. Um, One final question, Beatrice. If there were three things that you wanted to say to the travel retail business right now, what would they be?
Well, from Mondelez, we believe that we are in a moment that is a clear opportunity after COVID times to accelerate even more the growth of the industry. And that's why we came together with this strategy and we share transparently with the wide industry. And the most important for us is, first of all, we need to keep this shopper-centric approach. We need to understand and look at our shoppers and our travelers and understand their needs and their preferences to connect with them and offer them the right products. Also, and this is a very critical dimension, we need to have a financial sustainable growth. So only if it benefits all the stakeholders, we will be able to grow in this industry. And the third point that I think is very related to the season we are entering now in Christmas is the collaborative approach. I mean, we cannot change the industry alone. No one can do it. So we need to keep an innovative and especially collaborative approach with all the stakeholders in this industry to make changes, to be bold, and to test, innovate, and experiment. Because we're entering in a very fast changing world where we don't have all the answers, but we need to be bold and collaborate together to find the right solutions.
A suitable point on which to end this session. Beatrice, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Peter. It was a pleasure.